Hey, what radio station do we have on?
We have the Edge on.
The Edge.
All right.
Which is getting a bit better now.
I actually listen to the Edge quite
Oh,
often.
I listen to the Edge all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our technicians are working night and day. Speaking.
Well, you're on. You're on.
Hey, there we go. That was. Sorry, Johnny.
We got a feedback.
Man, are we like blowing the dials off here or what?
No, you're fine.
No, we got this monitor out here turned up.
Oh, okay. Richard,
Hey, Bob.
he's here.
Calling live from the East Coast. I'm out on the East Coast.
You want to introduce the show?
Oh, welcome
here?
to another fun-filled edition of 3-in-1
Oh, I
Sports
was going to
Chatter.
let Richard do it.
Okay, Richard.
Honored to be on this hit show that's internationally known.
Absolutely.
3-in-1. Is it the Sports Chatter show or just the 3-in-1 show?
No,
We are going to remain with the Sports Chatter
Yeah, we
show.
kind of half decided that, I think.
Well, I was out here on the East Coast attending a few baseball games, and I also, of course, I was stopped in at the funeral for Jackie O. It was a solemn occasion.
Did they actually let you in the apartment? Were you one of the close friends?
Kissed her goodbye, an old friend of the family, and
How was that?
the good liberal family that they are.
How was that?
I swore he was going to say good lips,
occasion.
but
I
he
remember
said
being
liberal.
down there for the funeral of JFK. I was with the casket when they switched it in Dallas. And I've been there. It's been a long, tragic story that's finally come to an end.
Wasn't that like over New Orleans that they switched the casket?
Yes, and isn't it fitting that the Timberwolves are heading down to New Orleans?
Gee, from Dallas?
And then we got
Stars.
Dallas, North.
Over New Orleans? Timberwolves.
There's a conspiracy there somewhere.
I think there is.
Going back to Washington? Senators.
Oh.
Richard.
The reason I'm calling, I got to put in a plug for a big show. I just talked to Patricia Wise. She says she will be there next Wednesday following the hit 3-in-1 show.
Did you get the World Weekly News?
Oh, no, I've been trying to dig one up.
What is this show?
The headline on that, it lists the, I believe it's like 15 senators that are space aliens.
Oh, my God. That was out last year.
Next
They
Wednesday.
can't recycle that story.
Yeah, I think they've got it out again. They've got they've got the senators all on the front page pictures. of them.
Definitely get my operatives on that, and we will have a thorough investigation by next Wednesday on it.
Yeah, I think you got a little bit of an update on that.
Anyway, Patricia Y, John P. King, live 7 to 8 o'clock next Wednesday. Oh, the excitement is building.
It's going to be another episode of King Against the Commies, huh?
Oh, no, the Empire is dead.
The evil empire.
Empire. Also, afterwards, around 8 o'clock, we are going to hold an organizational meeting on the parade. We're going to try and get some input. I'm inviting everybody, of course, to my show. This is like a kickoff show for the upcoming campaign for the United States Senate. Everybody's invited. And then we're trying to get a little, hash out some ideas for the big parade, which is what, the 15th?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I believe so.
Of June.
So all this excitement building up for the big 49ers Day parade.
It's a wild time in Fridley.
Oh,
I don't know though. No more wrestling. I don't know.
what happened?
They're
they're,
karaoke instead.
They're having a karaoke contest.
It's shocking development.
It
Well,
is,
sometimes
it
those
is.
karaoke things turn into wrestling events. Anyways.
This is true.
So
This is true.
maybe they figured they could, kill two birds with one stone.
Well, I got to run. I'm off to the opera tonight.
Whoa.
Well, see if you can stop in and talk to Mr. Stern at the NBA headquarters there for us.
Yeah, I have to put a little pressure on there.
I hear the nachos at the opera are to die for.
Oh,
Do they have? How are the brats?
the pots. It'd be better than Milwaukee.
Can't you just hear in the middle of the opera some guy chomping on nachos, belching a beer?
Sipping some suds.
Well, keep up the good work, man.
See you later.
I'll see you next week.
So long.
Bye-bye.
That was Richard A-Bum Claddy
Hard to believe.
starting out the 3-in-1 show this week. We should thank the roundtable guys for warming up the audience for us. It's just like a rock band, they have a warm up musician that comes on before, and the roundtable guys were warming up the crowd for us.
Well, have you talked about anything yet?
Not yet.
You wanna know
we dealt
something?
with Richard, and that was it.
Those round table guys are fanatics. I don't even want to thank them.
You mean
You guys
they were,
are nuts.
You mean they were bringing the audience down, huh?
Okay.
Instead of bringing them up.
Hey,
No,
Doc,
they-
take this phone call.
Okay.
What did he say?
Yep, you're on.
Geez, you got kind of a Batcave aperitif going there.
You know, I expected of all weeks, this would be the week you called.
Nicholson come out pretty soon. It's a nice touch.
Where'd you get all the nice toys?
Yes,
That's
right.
your line. You're supposed to say that.
Boy, who's lying and who stops lying in this Timberwolves deal?
Nobody. Everyone is lying,
Everyone.
and it will not stop.
Wow, it's just unbelievable. And it's not, it's not the kind of thing, well, I misinterpreted. No, he told me. No, he didn't tell me.
No.
No, he's lying.
Oh, by the way, there was a rumor came out of Ottumwa, Iowa today that they are in negotiations with the Fridley Tigers.
I see. Well, you
And
know,
if
going
we don't
after the
build them a
private
new
school team,
indoor
you notice that.
practice facility, they're out of
The
here.
Tigers are gone.
I think they're going to stay.
I
I think that the deal is so that the whole thing just really reeks, and I think the commission's going to, for the first time, I think Stern's actually going to step in. The interesting thing is, today they said the contract does say pending league approval, which would veto a Raiders kind of deal.
Yeah.
And then it also said that suddenly Aram admitted last night that, well, yeah, we are looking for somebody to take 20% of this from us. We need a minority.
Oh, jeez.
So that's what, 32, 34 million that they're looking. Sexton was on the radio. It was pretty interesting. He was talking about how originally the deal in New Orleans was 125 million. And then Wolfenson saying he didn't get a deal from Sexton, which the commissioner's office denies, and so does Sexton. And Sexton said, okay, I can understand that, but if he didn't get a deal from us, then why did New Orleans raise their deal $30 million? Why, if there was no bid, why bid against yourself?
All of a sudden, you take the Sexton deal and the money the state is throwing in for the arena, and it's up to their $125 million.
Oh, yeah, it's past
They
that.
gotta bump her up to make sure they get the deal.
Exactly. Because if you look, Sexton says that their deal is $97 million. And $97 million plus all the others works out to a little over $152.
Yeah.
Well, and isn't that about $9 million over what the 88 that they said they would settle for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the other interesting thing is Sexton stands by it, and so does the commissioner's office. And the finance guy for the Timberwolves isn't talking, this Petruccio or Peter Angelo or whatever the guy's name is. That,
It's a Ninja Turtle, isn't it?
he's some Italian guy.
Yeah.
That on Thursday they called and tried to set a deal, and Wolfenson said he didn't want to rush into it. He'd talk to him after the weekend.
But
well, if
Friday,
that's the
they
case, they're saying
set
that.
the deal.
Exactly. Then what's the story about? Well, everybody knew the deadline. Well, who the hell knew that? The guys are scumbags.
Yeah.
And the really thing that really gets me is this talk about the sports writer stuff is just, we're the only state where you bend over to pick up the soap and everybody goes, okay, fine. I mean, scumbag little Holtz is back here and people are paying him $40 to speech about trust and commitment. You know, he's in the paper. And now they're talking about, we shouldn't do anything about the health clubs. We shouldn't boycott this. It's a better deal. Screw them.
Absolutely.
Well, that's, I was going to open today's show with, those of you who are upset about the Timberwolves, just stay bent over. The Twins' lease is up in 97. They're coming for you.
Exactly. And you got to show them it's going to hurt. You got to show them it's going to. If this one, it was pretty funny because it was obviously at one of the employees of the health clubs calling in this morning. Because this stuff about cancer, they shouldn't take. It's probably some fat guy who wasn't going to do it. I think you should just divorce these things. These things happen. I'm a basketball fan too. Yeah, you're a little aerobics instructor. Don't talk about me. You're up there in your little jock strap, jumping up and down. That's fine. There's other health clubs in the metro.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Hey,
Well,
we got two of them in Fridley, man.
And that's what people should be at.
And
If they're
one of
gonna do
them's
this,
theirs.
Let them take it up the butt.
That's just it.
If Pohlad does it, Marquette, there's still some Marquette banks left, and they shouldn't have any of our money in them.
Yeah.
I pulled mine.
Exactly.
Well, and it was hilarious on K-Fan when Wolfenson is on there, and all of a sudden, you can tell he's writing all these bonus checks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because call after call is, I think you guys did the right thing. Get Give me a
And what I
break.
love is they keep talking about one bid being $88 and the other being $152. Well, that's not the case, because $152 has to pay off the $76 million in debt, and they also have another $38 million in, God, is that right? $38 million in taxes?
Yeah, probably something
Could
like
be.
that.
So it's, I mean, the whole thing just reeks.
Well-
And what's interesting is the commissioner's office isn't trying to cover for him. I mean, every other Gary, I'll lick anything you want. Bettman did everything to cover in the North Star deal, but here the commissioner's saying, "Well, we didn't know anything about it. We don't know anything about it. We're pissed off."
Yeah. Well, and then listening to Wolfenson again, somebody nails him to the wall because he keeps saying that they lost $6 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally, he comes out and says, "Well, okay, I lied. We made $500,000 last
oops.
year."
Oh, oops.
What?
I think people have to understand.
You lied? You mean that's what we're dealing with?
Exactly. These two scumbags are landlords. When was the last time these guys made their living as landlords? When was the last time you knew a landlord who was a sweet guy?
That's right.
That's the way it works.
That's right.
And then it's all this, well, I had no purchase agreement or earnest money. That, you can tell, it's definitely real estate that they're used to dealing with.
Oh,
here.
yeah. And both the other guys, both Sexton and the other guys said, hey, they never asked. They said, hey, we've done millions of dollars worth of business. We've bought real estate all over the country. The buyer sets the schedule, not the seller sets the schedule, not the buyer.
Yeah.
The seller wanted earnest money. He said at any time he could have said, take earnest money. And if the New Orleans deal was such a great deal all the way through, then why didn't they take it 6 months ago? They didn't take it because they didn't think it was going to go through the legislature. And they thought it could go through the legislature. They'd be able to take the big money and say, hey, don't boycott us. Don't kick the health clubs. Don't quit going to the Target Center. We tried to do everything we could. But then they got their butt up against the wall on Thursday because the deal went through. Sexton was going to get the money, and they panicked.
Oh, and then they start hearing names like Janet Jackson and
Exactly.
Magic
People-
Johnson and...
Jimmy Jam and
No.
Of course, somebody's
Never
coming up
go to
with the
another
money here.
Target Center event.
Let's get this deal done.
Yeah, never go to another Target Center event. Never go. Moore Lake Commons, you should be able to use the parking lot to barbecue hot dogs.
bingo.
Not be used anymore as a healthcare center.
That's it.
Or
Absolutely.
you can do jumping jacks in the parking lot. Okay, that's all right. You want to do jumping jacks in the parking lot, that's fine. But nobody should be going in that damn Moore Lakes Common. Close the damn door.
Yep.
Yep.
There you go.
And Randy Shaver, you are a dweeb, okay?
What was he saying?
He is coming out constantly. People are saying, well, where's their loyalty? Where's their loyalty? He's saying, well, it was business. You know, there is no loyalty when it's business. Where they were loyal is when they got a team here in the first place.
Yep.
No, that wasn't loyalty either. That was business, too.
Well, and if it's business, then how come we had to give them the $20 million? How come they wanted the $20 million for tax increment financing? How come they wanted the new utilities to be taken care of? This is what I love. Hey, the company I work for, if this is what business is going to do, hey, I want the state to build me I want the state to build us an office building. They didn't build our office building. They didn't buy our cars. They don't pay our salary. It's not business. It's a quasi-public institution. Screw this stuff about it. Who built the damn Metrodome? Who put the wiring together for you? The public did these.
John
These
Coles.
aren't businessmen. This isn't Carruthers has a pretty good line, the Speaker of the House. The main thing about American business, they want to privatize the profit but socialize the debt.
Yeah.
And that's what these guys want to do. They want to be a public entity when they want us to pick up all the taxes, when they want us to pay all for all the buildings and all the utilities, but they want to be business when they get to keep the profits.
But the legislature
Well,
didn't do anything either.
Yeah, but see, that's just crap too. Because I've been out in the stump this last few months on the Senate campaign. If the legislature's doing what the public wanted, they wouldn't have done a damn thing for the building. That's what's funny listening to the sports writer saying, well, hey, you leave this metro area and you can't find 5 people who wanted them to do anything for it. If people are supposed to represent their constituents, and that's why you vote for them, that's why you put them in, then any of those people outstate, or even in most of the suburbs who voted for the deal, are going to would get thrown out of office.
certainly
They
the only
ignored all their phone calls.
Yeah, the only people that stood to benefit were the downtown businesses.
And that's what, and, we can talk about all we want. I like to keep the Timberwolves here.
Actually, the entire state would benefit from them being
Just from
here.
the state taxes.
I mean, that's
That's pretty
$25 million a year that the state is not going to get in taxes now.
Yeah, but
that
tell
they
it
would
to,
have before.
Yeah,
tell it
but
to somebody up in
we have
Redwood
the lottery
Falls.
now.
Down in Redwood Falls.
Boy, a geography ghost.
Down in Redwood.
Okay, how about up in International Falls?
Okay.
Or to Repstock, Redwood
Well, yeah,
Falls.
but if you do look at it from the financial end that the state should have been looking at, yeah, it was wise to even do more than what they were going to do to keep them here.
That's a nice, rational argument, but you try to take that up to Mille Lacs Lake, or you try to take that out, and all they saw was money going in for guys who built an arena who 8 years ago said, we don't want to take the Civic Center, we don't want to take the Met Center, we want our own business, government stay out of it.
That's the biggest
Well,
thing.
the
is
way
they
you
were
do
not
it-
forced into building the Target Center. The NBA was
Yeah,
more than
they-
happy to either
yeah.
use the Civic Center
Stayed in the dome.
Or the Metrodome.
or the Metrodome or the Met Center. NBA was happy with any of those three buildings.
But if you
Harvard
walk
Marv
up to
built the Target
International
Center on their
Falls
own.
and start carrying out school desks, because, well, you know, the $25 million that we were going to get from taxes, this is part of what it was buying, and take the desks away.
Or the Northwest Airlines deal that's supposed to go up there. You know, that's really a northern Minnesota problem.
But
That's
that's,
not.
it's the Northwest deal. That was one of the big things that made it tough for legislators to vote for this one.
Oh,
But
right.
that's what they were getting out in the stump. Oh, last time you guys did this crap, last time you voted for us, you said we were going to get 3,000 jobs and money, and we didn't get anything. And that's the only thing. If we keep talking about wanting representative government, and we want these guys to represent us. Well, unless, of course, wait, no, we don't want you to represent us when it's something for me personally. And
Yeah.
that's what we were talking about. If these guys, if they were supposedly doing what their constituents wanted, they wouldn't even have had that bill. They would not have had that bill. And I agree with the bill. I liked it. But boy,
Absolutely, me too. I think
when was the last
that.
time a bond issue passed? A school bond issue.
Yeah.
Been a while.
Yeah, to go after the legislature for doing what they want, constituents wanted. I agree with Royce most time, but I think that was chicken bleep what he did today.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I'll let somebody get through and ask if they can find a poster. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Well, are we done with the T-Wolves now? Have we
I don't know, are we?
totally discussed this?
I think we pretty much covered it.
Well, there's one more thing we have to discuss.
Well,
If we want to show New Orleans how unhappy we are, I can think of going over and walking over toward the river, and there's one thing we can do. Now,
There we go.
how many people? 4 million people in the Twin Cities?
how about just opening the gates on Pig's Eye?
What is it, about 4 million in the Twin Cities and about 8 million statewide? Is that about what it is?
They got Prairie Island down there. They can start floating some of them containers down.
That's right. That's right.
8 million of us? You want to talk a wave?
Go do a duper right in the Mississippi and send it on down. Open the locks, baby.
Today, Thor on K-Fan,
Yeah.
he wrote a note, New Orleans, you suck. The Big Show, Thor. Rolled it up, put it in a bottle, tossed that sucker out in the river.
Is that right?
It's floating down. Give it about, what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Depends how much rain we get.
That's true.
It may not make it. It may get lost in Kansas or,
That's true.
or
Just
Missouri, I
Like the
should say.
Crusher, give me a box of cigars and a keg of beer, and I'll float down the river on the That was the best crush.
Yeah, I don't know. What's going to happen to the Target Center if they leave?
Well, last year there were 174 events at the Target Center.
Other than
40 of them were basketball games. So there were still 130 events.
Who's going to... Are Harv and Marv still going to run it?
They're still running it. Now it'll be a cold day before you see me seeing a concert
Why would anyone
at
in
the
their
Target
right mind
Center.
even go there then?
that's it. You know.
Bleeding hearts, well, I suppose. I shouldn't say
You know-
that.
Well, hey, I mean, if a concert comes about that you want to see the concert, you know, I mean, they may not come again.
Then
you know?
yeah, then you should just not go.
I don't.
Buy
think
the
so.
album.
Takes a little bit of hurt from everybody to
I
hurt
just
the big
Buy
guys.
the CD.
No, I don't
Skip
think so.
the concert.
Certainly. Have the CD for life, and
That's it.
That's that.
I don't.
And put a picture of the Target Center on the front of it. Yeah, I saw
Make
this.
a good hockey rink for an expansion team, wouldn't it?
Yeah, would. There you go.
Good sight lines in
How about
that
a little?
building.
How about a little?
Arctic
How about a little arena football? There we go.
Yeah, who started this stuff up about arena football? And I've heard this roller hockey stuff.
Oh,
Yep.
the Arctic Blast. That's
Arctic
starting in a
Blast,
couple
yep.
weeks.
Big deal.
I know.
I can't imagine paying any amount of money to
No.
go watch them play.
Season tickets
Oh,
are what,
actually-
$125 or something like that.
Actually, I've seen a couple arena football games on TV, and it's enjoyable.
I don't think it's worth the time to go downtown to watch it.
No, I might if I'm up late at night and it
Worth
happens
my
to be on
time to go
ESPN.
Yeah,
Across the
that's what
street
it's
to
for.
watch.
It's not to go see in person.
I'm not going to get pay-per-view arena football.
Certainly not. I'm not gonna. Like I said, I would not pay any money to go see a roller hockey game.
So we got to figure.
Well, it's got to be a wide open game though, because there's only 4 guys on the ice.
I've seen some
Four
of
and
the
the
stuff on
goalie.
ESPN, but
Yeah.
you got old has-been hockey players and young guys that know how to rollerblade. Ron Duguay was on a team, and he scored like 6 goals in one game or something. It was ridiculous.
Because he was the only one who could go.
No, it was like 18-2.
Jay,
Boy, that's a sport.
I guess. But that actually surprises me that they managed to avoid that in the Northern League, Northern Baseball League.
Avoid what now?
They've avoided a bunch of
Old timers.
has-been old
They have had a couple that have wanted to come in and
Well, that's basically because
work their way back up.
They're single A, aren't they?
No,
They're not affiliated.
they aren't affiliated.
They're
at
not
all.
Oh, at all?
affiliated.
Mostly composed of Class A type players.
Is that what it is, Class A?
I would say because most of the Class A type players are basically your young guys breaking in. Double A has some guys that are on their way up, younger guys. Triple A basically has most of the old guys that are on their way down.
Right.
So basically, what you're going to see is
So if you're in Double A as a
Legion
young
ball?
prospect, that's where you want to be. If you get bumped up to Triple A, you better hope you're not there long,
Right.
because that's, like I say, that's the way out. Triple A is.
so it's basically you're going to go down and see some Legion baseball.
Oh, I would
about
say
what
a
it
step
is.
above Legion.
So
as
a step
whole.
above high school Legion, Triple A.
Well, not Triple A, but
I mean, A.
yeah,
Or this.
I would say it's Class A ball, which is minor league, but
But it's outside.
it's outside and it's a great program
It's
they put on
baseball.
down there, and you can tailgate.
Yes, it's baseball.
I think we got to plan one this year.
Certainly.
Absolutely.
We got to get a 3-in-1 day at the Saints.
Gotta go. You gotta get them at the door. I mean, you gotta get one of those 200 tickets, whatever that they've got available at game time, because the rest are gone.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. The rest are gone.
Isn't that amazing?
Hard to believe. I thought they would have added on.
They did.
Did they? How many seats?
1,500?
5 seats.
5 seats. Yeah.
Was it
they
1,500
took out-
seats that they added?
Took out some folding
It
chairs.
used to be like, what was it, 43, and then I think it's up to like 52 or something. It was in Sunday's paper. They had a big article on it, like a page and a half.
I think they should wrap the entire outfield with bleachers and let's go watch some
Absolutely.
ball.
Absolutely. I mean, how much?
Let's halt the Fridley bleachers. Since
Yeah,
Fridley
the
Tigers
Fridley-
are going to Ottumwa.
Ottumwa, Iowa. How many would you say the Fridley bleachers sit?
Oh, between all of them?
Well,
We've got-
just the middle sections.
Well, let's take the visitor section. Yeah, that's long, and yeah, that fill out a big gap up there.
700?
No.
What do you think?
I don't have a clue.
I don't have a clue.
Can't be. It's not more than that,
Well, you're talking about what, 100 yards long?
roughly.
How many rows high? 14?
It's not as high as the metal ones.
Figure it's a
why I
person
said
per
14.
yard.
Person per yard, so 100.
100 people
100 a
per
row?
row.
14 rows. I know there's got to be 14 rows over there.
100 per row.
That's
yeah.
1,400.
1,400 or so.
Well, let's just we'll just bring our own bleacher section when we go then.
Can't
Yep.
be that many.
Hey, we've got one right
we
back
got one
here.
right behind the curtain here. We'll bring our own bleachers.
I'm sorry, there's no
go-
seats. That's okay, we got some.
Go catch the Saints.
Our next personal appearance is the parade, by the way.
Our next personal appearance? Isn't that our
Did we
only
announce that?
personal appearance?
No, we go on personal appearance. Me and
We'll
Todd
be
go on
we'll be making a personal appearance in Vegas later this summer,
Jeff,
and
or Jeff.
Joe, he goes car racing now and then.
Coming up this weekend, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, oh, you're gonna be in the Rock.
I'll be at Rock Ridge one more time, Sunday,
Softball.
May 29th.
Our local charity softball.
There's a possibility.
We don't want
I
to
might
talk
be in
about the
it.
fact of softball this last week. How did it go yesterday?
I almost hit for the cycle.
Ooh,
You missed the
baby.
double, right?
No. No, unfortunately. No, in the first game I went single, double, triple, and then it was time to uncork after that, and
It didn't come
The
up.
fence is a little too far.
I never got one up. I tell you, I hit some smashing ground balls, but
Whoa.
I was technically I think I was 5 for 7 last night, but I was on base every time.
If I would have been in that spot, I think I would have.
The guy
hit
on
that
third
last
had
time
some
and-
sore shins, and the guy on short had some sore shins.
That last time up, I think I would have just kept on running.
I should have, yeah, I should have.
Yeah, you should have.
Oh, that was the funniest. That was the last time up was the funniest one. That was the only ball I got up after after I hit my triple. Tommy was over on the bench and he goes, and I heard him say something about, geez, Joe only needs one more. And he looks over towards third and I go, hey, I'm one away from the cycle, you know. He kind of giggled that I was keeping track. I thought, well, I don't hit any triples, you know.
Yeah.
So he goes, just swing hard the rest of the night, swing hard. But
Not
couldn't do it. The only one I got up was a well-placed 100-foot high pop fly that dropped in center field
Oh.
for a base hit. So,
Yeah, the Fridley Fields are nice. I do like the Fridley Fields.
yeah, it was enjoyable.
Is the drainage better this year, or is it still pretty
It's-
soggy
it's-
out?
It's still the same. It's nothing but clay. There's no sand. Park construction got all that, so they filled it in with clay, and it's a sponge.
Oh well.
And it hasn't been that bad. Early in the year, that first week, it was moist in the outfield, but I've seen it worse. We had a lot of rain beginning of the year.
Yeah.
We haven't had much
We had
rain
a
since.
lot
and it's
of
been
rain
able to-
today.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be playing tonight over there, because
Oh.
it's going to be wet.
Yeah. Kind of like the greens at Bunker that first time out, huh, Johnny?
I will be making a personal appearance there on Monday, as a matter of fact.
Bunker. Is that right?
Be playing the big course.
the big course.
The front, the back, or the way back?
Whatever. They got them mixed up. They call
Okay.
them the north, west, and east course.
I don't get. Isn't it Bunker where some of the holes are actually for the two different parts?
Yeah, they split the old back 9. Still untouched. That's like the west.
Mm-hmm.
The north includes, I think, 3 of the old front 9 and 6 new holes, and the east contains whatever the balance, 3 new holes and 6 of the old ones in the front 9.
So I take it they don't play all 3.
No, one 9 gets a
Sections.
9. One 9 gets
They
a rest every.
rotate
Yeah, they
the-
rotate it around like that.
Okay.
And then, but when the tournament is up there, they play the original 18 course,
Oh, okay.
Aha.
which I can't give you a name for because it's no longer included. You can't play the original 18 anymore the way they're set up now,
Oh, is that?
unless unless you're in the senior tournament
Yeah.
or the National Car Open, stuff like that.
Don't think I'll be
Which
there
may
this
be
year.
no more real soon.
Oh yeah, is that on its way out?
Nationals may be getting bought by Avis or something.
So it'll be the Avis Car Open. They'll still have a tournament up there of
Well,
some type.
Right now you got like 1,800 or something like that people at work around here. If that happened, you'd be down to about 700 or 900. Be cut in half anyway.
Thanks for the cheery news.
Tidbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just read the paper.
But
Hey.
Avis is going to hold that tournament in New Orleans.
It irritates the heck out of me anyway when they go and put those damn tents up on the first half of the first hole of the exec.
Go play Majestic. They got a beautiful
Turns that
executive.
par
Yeah.
4 into a
I
par
definitely want
2.
to play some other courses this year.
Majestic's
we're gonna try
executive, I
and,
think, is better than Bunkers.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, the holes are laid out much nicer.
Is that right?
I
Longer?
think so. A little bit longer, but number 9 is
And
almost a
longer's
duplicate
good.
hole.
Longer's good. You know?
Number 9 at Majestic is like a 90-yard or 100-yard
Oh,
hole.
really? Yeah.
But I mean, there's
It's
some
a
short ones.
chipper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's some short ones and there's some. It's just laid out better, I think.
Yeah, we got to try some other courses.
But is there a light on the building you can aim for when it gets late at
I
night
think
on that
so,
ninth
because
hole?
it's almost a duplicate deal the way it lays out. You're hitting up towards the corner of the building
Oh, yeah?
somewhat, and if,
Yeah.
they're out there.
Yeah, when it's starting to get dark.
But they also have two 18s up there, too, so.
Can you hit?
Ah.
I played there once this year, but on the 9, can you go for the? You don't do it on purpose, but if you hit one out in the park, can you hit the parking lot?
Oh, yeah, you can hit a lot of the parking lot in several cars, because usually if you're coming in when it's after dark, there's some type of social event going on up there.
How in the world does he hit the parking lot on the ninth hole?
At bunker? Oh, that's not that
That's
much
not
of
that
a
hard.
That's not that much of a
On
hook
the executive
or a
board.
slice for a righty. I'm a lefty.
Just because you
remember?
stand on the wrong side of the ball.
And that's not even trying to hit cars.
Yeah.
Phone.
Really?
Is it a good caller?
I don't know. Call.
You're on.
What do you guys think about the Timberwolves losing?
Have you watched the first half hour of the show?
Nope.
You should tune in earlier next time you want to answer to a question
Yeah,
like that.
we pretty much covered it for
Why
the
don't you
first
give them a
half,
quick consensus, Todd?
But well, we pretty much all thought it stunk.
If you've got any hopes and dreams that they're going to stay, no, they're gone.
I think it's like a 95% chance that they're gone.
There is a chance that they might be still here, but not enough to care about.
It's really iffy,
With the
'cause
money involved, somebody in the commission would have to really take a hard stand.
if the league is against it as they're coming out with, I'd say it's as good a chance as, not a 50-50 chance, but it's a better chance that we could possibly hope for.
As far as Marvin Harv, they suck.
Yeah,
They may as well call up Norm.
They're
I'm surprised
goofy.
they didn't move to Dallas.
They should be gone.
They better move somewhere, man, because there's a lot of people in Minnesota that don't like it.
Take their dumbbells and go.
Absolutely.
What do you guys think of what the Vikings are going to do this year?
I think they're going to do excellent. By the way, we should, I suppose, mention that they just signed Amp Lee,
Oh, they
Yes.
the running back from San Francisco.
Yes, and are we going to cover the restructuring of the
We
league?
should
Is
we
that
should
gonna
cover
happen
that a
this
little
next
bit.
Year?
Well, this week they're going to be voting on it. It wouldn't happen this season. It'd be next season.
Next season.
I'm not going to worry about it then.
Yeah,
But the restructuring, it just
How does it
Totally.
affect the Central Division?
it puts
Every-
three of the choices put the Vikings out of it. If
Tampa's in the East, the Vikings are in the West, and a couple get joined
The
into
Vikes
the
are in the
Central.
West?
That's
Yeah.
yep. If
Ouch.
three of the
Seattle.
options go, but
And now-
the only thing is there was only, in all three options, the only team the Vikings would be going against in their own division was San Francisco. Everybody else was stiffs.
Yeah. Well, Seattle and
You
Los
know,
Angeles Rams.
Seattle,
That's
the
all you-
Rams.
That's all you need to
You
go
don't-
against
You don't
is
play
San
Chicago
Francisco.
or Green Bay anymore either.
We wouldn't be playing them?
Nope.
Well, we wouldn't be playing them twice a year.
Right.
Oh, that's a bunch of crud.
No Detroit, no Green
And the thing
Bay.
is, they want to realign this so that they're in the right regions.
Look, don't worry about it.
But then,
the
yet,
Rams are
Dallas
gonna move. The Rams
in
are
the
going to move
East.
from the West.
Well, that's hokey.
Hey, but the Rams are going to move from the West too. So
To where? Are they going to Baltimore?
Probably.
No, you see, I think if they're going to do up this realignment, they might as well plan it for 17 years ahead of time, and just put the Baltimore Vikings in the East now.
Yeah, right.
34 minutes.
Hey, it would not bother me if we lost all our pro teams and got minor league teams here. Would not bother me in the least.
It would mean that we could afford to go to games.
Sir, that's the biggest thing I'm thinking of.
I don't know. It'd bother me.
A pro football team, I guess it's hard to replace that, but the Twins, if the Twins left, it wouldn't bother me.
Oh,
That'd
bother
bother
me.
me.
Yeah,
That'd bother me
you can't
greatly.
lose the Twins or the Vikings.
We'd be sitting in we'd be comparable with
We sure wouldn't have no
We'd be
3-1 sports chatter.
we'd be
That's for
comparable
damn
with
sure.
the caliber of state
No,
of
we'd have 3-1
be
auto
Green
sports
Bay.
chatter.
We'd be comparable with North Dakota, South Dakota, and Iowa.
We'd be Green
We'd just
Bay.
be another one up there with nothing.
What do you mean? What's wrong with those towns, those states?
They have no pro
Just
franchise.
that.
For one thing, there's a lot of Twins fans there.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
divert your attention to something else and you get along.
No,
It
no,
would not.
no,
It would not
no,
even
no.
affect.
You can't
half the
lose
people.
baseball. Baseball's the major.
Baseball. You can't lose baseball.
I don't see it as a life-saving device for the city.
Man, that's a lot of cash flow.
Yeah, but you know,
All those parking tickets, $12 a shot.
Yeah, it would be a lot of income
Baseball
that the
would be a
city would
lot
be. The
harder.
city and state would be
Baseball would be
out
a
of.
lot harder to lose than football.
yeah, but there'd be a lot less expense then too.
I don't know. I'm a much bigger football fan than I am a baseball fan.
Now, I'm not talking on a fan point of view. I'm talking as a
Money wise,
yeah,
well, yeah, 8 games compared to whatever.
yeah,
80.
81.
So, but I think baseball overall would be harder to lose. Football is
So
football is a lot easier to watch the away games than than baseball is. I mean I don't go and watch Oakland
Tuesday
play
night
California
baseball
or,
when it's not a
exactly.
Twins game.
Exactly.
That's all you're going to be watching is the away games this year.
What?
No TV sellouts this time. Blacked out. Vikings will be
What are you
blacked
talking
out.
about?
What are you
Vikings.
talking about?
Well, who cares about the Vikings? They were talking about baseball.
No, you're talking about football. Todd was just talking about football.
No, we were talking about baseball.
But
How
you're
how
talking
can
about
he think
watching
that
the
this
away
year,
games.
with the hype that's going on about the Vikings already, that they're going to be blacked out this year?
They'll be blacked out. You only see 3 games on TV that are home. That's
Fine.
it.
No, Johnny, I don't
It's
think
too easy
so.
to drive to St. Cloud to watch them. I'll tell you
With
that.
they're gonna sell out.
Besides, this gets satellites in all the sports bars. It's not a big thing.
They're gonna sell out with getting Moon and all that. They're selling out. Don't even worry about that.
It ain't a problem.
Are you saying they're sold?
Yeah,
The
that's
Vikings
right.
were sold?
That's right. Sold out and floated down the
Wow.
river.
The Vikings are
37
going
minutes
to Lincoln, Illinois.
Oh, there you go.
Anything else? Thank you.
They're in one.
Well, I guess we don't have to sit and wait for him to answer that phone. We
Did
can
they
keep
pick
talking.
up those baseball tickets?
I have no idea.
What baseball tickets?
We gave away baseball tickets last week.
How come I didn't get them?
You weren't here.
You didn't answer the
Excuse
question.
me, you weren't here.
What
What was the question?
Harmon Killebrew hit the first in the park home run in the Mets Stadium. What date was it?
It was on
May 3rd,
it was on the Twins
65.
game that day.
See, we've asked that question
Johnny, you want to find out
year
with
after
TK
year.
if someone
was
picked
it?
up those Twins tickets?
4th of July, 1961. I even gave a hint that it was probably about a week before the All-Star break. But
Not that we're going to
nobody
give
got
them
it yet.
away if they didn't pick them up. I think we're probably going to use them.
I know. I think we
Hey,
should.
Raindrop Lake, give us a call. Let us know if you got the tickets.
Who?
Raindrop Lake.
Yeah, right.
Is he the one that won?
We don't,
They
we don't
got
need
the tickets.
we don't need to ask for them to call.
No.
Did anybody pick up the tickets from last week that these guys were giving away?
Well, are we ready?
Well, let's go for it.
Let's
Okay.
do it.
Let's do what?
Okay.
One of the biggest things that ever could happen,
we
possibly.
don't know.
Okay.
What?
We don't know. 3-1.
One of the last major barriers to be broken in our lifetime, probably in drag racing, happened this weekend. A la Kurt Johnson
We don't know if the tickets were picked up or not.
became the first pro stalker.
Why don't? How can't we? If they're there, they're.
Well, if one staff member doesn't tell the other staff member if they were picked up or not, you don't know if they're picked up.
Oh, I see.
As the tension builds, became the first pro stock to run in the sixes.
Under 7 seconds. Under 7 seconds. in a
500
quarter mile.
cubic inch, dual carbureted,
Gasoline.
racing gasoline, 2,350 pounds.
Now we're talking high octane here, but it's
Unbelievable.
still gasoline.
He went 698 at 196 and change. That single run was worth the $25,000 from Holly. He also went on to win the Budweiser Pro Stock Shootout on Saturday. That was worth $50,000.
But he didn't win
He
the meet.
He set the record, or backed that record up, So what was that worth? That was worth, let's see here, it's like $7,500 from Slick 50 because they got this new record deal that anytime someone sets a record, it's worth X amount of dollars, and if someone doesn't do it, the money kind of doubles up and carries over. And
Uh-huh.
think that sort of stuff works? It's like 50, that sort of stuff. My brother.
what does that have to do with what I'm talking about
You
at
just said
all?
it. You just
At
said it.
all.
It's related to cars.
I'll talk to you after the
See,
show.
This is anything. It says anything. This is not a sports show.
Then get on the phone and call in.
No, you didn't know.
There you are. And also he was #1 qualifier, which is worth $3,000 or $4,000. So he made like over $80,000 before the race Sunday started.
And this is what you're going to do in Rock Falls this weekend?
Yeah, that's, I'm looking to set the world on its ear and win $300 maybe this weekend. So Kurt put it together. I do not know what happened to Warren, whether Warren was in the sixes or not. I would imagine he, usually they're within 100th. I think last year at Englishtown, Kurt outran his dad by 100th, which was the first time he flat out outran his dad. And it looks like history repeated itself big time.
What is the top speed for Pro Stock right now?
I think Warren Johnson holds it at like 197.4.
So probably the next barrier is
The next barrier is 200
mile.
mile an hour Pro Stock deal, which they're figuring equates to like a 6:88 elapsed time,
We'll see that.
which is a tenth away, which is gobs of horsepower away, which
We'll see it though.
we'll see it. It'll probably take 2-3 years, maybe 2, unless, it depends what innovations they invent in the next year and a half.
We'll see it.
The
It'll
speed
happen.
has not gone up as dramatically as the ET has come down in the last 3 years. So, but that was about as big a news as you could have. A lot of this came because of the night qualifying they had at Englishtown, and they also had some very good weather conditions. Top Fuel, who was a Michael Brotherton, rotated the Earth with a 469. First Top Fuel dragster in the 460s. 469 flat, I may add. And at 290 some miles an hour, 99 or something like that. There were several vehicles. The bump spot for this, it had to be the all-time record low bump, because I think Bernstein or somebody was qualified 15th with like a 489. So he's almost out of the show, and he's in the 480s.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Funny car, John Force went a 499 and change and lowered his record from the previous 499 that he had, so he only bumped it down by a couple hundredths or something, but a record is worth points, so that's what he's after.
And it gets you the $25 that Slick just put back into their pool that builds up.
Yeah, that's worth some, that was worth definitely some dough.
By the way, does that stuff work? Sorry.
Hello?
Yeah, going on from there, winners of the race, Larry Morgan won Pro Stock over...
This was the Mopar race, wasn't it?
This was the Mopar. This was one of the Mopar races, yes.
But it's
this
not-
Was,
they
this was the
didn't,
first Mopar race. No, they're actually. I don't understand this. The big GM race was in Atlanta. The Dodges dominated down there. Now they come to the Mopar race here a couple weeks later, 3 weeks later to be exact, and then an Oldsmobile wins. There was a Dodge in the final, but Alderman fouled it away. So I don't know what the deal was. Funny car, geez, I don't even remember. I don't remember who won either Funny Car or Top Fuel, because I really didn't care because of the Pro Stock deal.
Yeah.
Larry Morgan was the
I
big.
looked at it too over the weekend, and
Yeah, I saw it
Monday
Monday in the
night,
paper,
and
and I just blew it off.
I just looked for the WJ
Although this race
name
will be
and-
shown June 5th on NBC Sports World, which I believe is a
Oh,
Sunday.
you're kidding.
Yeah, so you can watch this one redone, and it'll definitely be one worth watching with all the records that were set and a lot of things that happened positive there. A few negative things going on. Jim Yates' crew chief gotten hit by a scooter, I think at Nashville, and landed on his noggin. And he's been in the hospital for a bunch of time. They think he's going to recover and be okay. Jerry Caminito had a big crash at Nashville, or Memphis, I should say. which was a previous race to this weekend, and he looks like he's going to come out of that okay. And all I will say is I think there is some substantially bad news with Jimmy Nix, although I can't confirm what it is, so I will not project as to what it may be.
Okay.
But it sounded pretty serious, and I haven't got a confirming story, so I hate to say what it was, but
Is this car?
Jimmy
or-
Nix is the top fuel guy, and I heard he was in doing some match racing in either Texas or Oklahoma and had a major substantial mishap. But I do not know the complete results, and I can't verify it because I wasn't listening that close when it happened, and no one has repeated it since.
And it hasn't been in
And
the
I haven't
drag
seen it in the
magazines
paper, and
or
it hasn't
anything?
come up in my drag magazines, which really makes me wonder whether or not the story I heard was right, or how slow my magazine that I subscribe to is. And if they're that slow, I'm disappointed.
Well, yeah,
in
but
them.
usually your magazine gets the results in fairly quick.
Well, this is something that would have happened between the races. From, they raced back to back. They raced in Memphis 2 weekends ago. They raced in Englishtown this week. It had to happen between those two because Jimmy Nix was racing in Memphis 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, actually. So we'll see what happens with that and get that news out as soon as possible. You'll probably hear about it before we get it out next week.
In
And I'm
circle
surprised
track,
nothing showed up even in the papers or anything. Because usually these kind of major mishap deals, the paper's been really fast to jump on now that Ayrton Senna died.
yeah, well,
So-
even before that.
Well, yeah, they look for the bad news and promote it as much as possible. Although, because of that, there is a little bit more of race coverage showing up in the paper on Mondays now, which I don't know why it is.
I looked through Monday's
won't last.
paper, and I was waiting to see, at least some form of articles Monday about what happened at Indy over this weekend.
Yeah, there's
I
another
didn't
good
see
example.
Nothing. They didn't have a final lineup listed or anything.
I think that came out Tuesday. I thought I saw
I
something
didn't.
in the paper.
I haven't
covering
seen
Indy.
it. Who ended up getting bumped?
Scott Goodyear got bumped from King Racing. Scott Goodyear was the main guy that got bumped on Sunday. He was the only one to get bumped, I think. I think only one car got in and qualified Sunday. A few guys got bumped Saturday, but
So Emerson still made it in. Wasn't it Emerson that?
no, Emerson was third fastest.
No, Rahal. Rahal was sitting down on the bubble. ready to
Rahal,
get
yeah, Rahal was.
bumped.
Rahal put Ford Motors in his Honda cars and went out and requalified Saturday.
Did he?
Yeah.
So he's up a little bit off the bottom. And,
yeah, he's up from the bottom, but that's funny, I think.
Yeah.
Honda spent a lot of money on some commercials, and they really lost face, shall we say?
And they're stripping that H. Ooh.
Okay, Tuesday paper, we got the Winston Cup point standings. Raceway Park.
Yeah, see, I didn't see anything yesterday either.
I thought I saw something in the paper this week about Indy.
Sunday's paper had had 2 pages on it where they talked about the one guy from.
Okay, yeah, but then they
England
didn't
or
have the
something?
final line.
Yeah.
Was that the guy when they talked about
Yeah,
the guy
we got
from
nothing.
England and they
Nothing in
talked
the sports
about,
section about
all the
on
guys
Tuesday,
retiring this year?
Yeah. Yeah, what, Johnny Rutherford retired. And you could have
Johnny
fooled
Rutherford?
me. Yeah, you could have fooled me. I thought, and Johnny Rutherford made it sound like he was the last guy to retire that was worth anything. I thought his retirement speech was,
Kind of
how would you say,
Sour grapes?
self-fulfilling. He was really high on himself.
I think Al Senior retiring is a bigger deal
Well,
than
he
Johnny
compared
Rutherford.
he compared himself to Al and AJ and all these other guys, and he goes, "There's no one else coming down the pike that's going to retire." And the first thing I thought of was,
Mario's not that far away.
Mario's retiring next year more than likely, and I'm thinking, he's every bit as good as you, Johnny, or
Oh,
if not
yeah.
better. Rutherford could drive an oval, and that was it. Not that driving Indy isn't something, but.
And I think we are probably
It's
going to
one
have a
racetrack.
couple people retiring next year on NASCAR, too. I wouldn't doubt at all if there aren't a few of the old soldiers that are about ready to bow out of that.
Geez, I don't know. Who are you thinking of?
Oh, possibly. Well, I guess Harry Gant already did, didn't he?
Okay.
Isn't this his final year?
Could be, yeah. Well, yeah, he's up in his 50s. I can't think of anybody older than, like Earnhardt is in his mid-40s, isn't he?
Yeah, but still, there's
Dick Trickle is probably the next oldest guy, and he's pushing 50.
Darrell Waltrip. He's getting up there.
He's, like I say, 49, 50. He's not old.
But still, they're not competitive anymore. And
I don't know
if
if it's so much that as I think this year, this year has a lot to do with what guys are going to do for next year, simply because of the fact that Ayrton Senna died.
Yeah.
This is going to make a lot of these guys that are car owners and whatnot, that are car owners and drivers, think, I decided that being a car owner is a lot better thing, and for them it probably is. It's they've raced for 30 years. They own their own car. There's really no need for them to be in there driving it because and they all start thinking, well, geez, I got families and this and that and the other thing, and
especially after a weekend like we just went through with all the accidents during that NASCAR race.
Oh yeah, racing is racing, and that is what makes these guys go. But I think they're finding that they can fulfill the racing portion, being a car owner, and live a lot longer.
Yeah.
9 minutes.
9 minutes.
9 minutes.
So yeah, unfortunately for drag racing, there aren't a lot of those type of fatal type accidents that happen. There's not a lot of injuries, tell you the truth. There's more burns that happen from anything.
Yeah, you see, even when there are big accidents,
Horrendous type crashes where the car is destroyed.
so all you see is a little bit of tubing and a wheel. The tires are gone.
But that's essentially all there is to those. Are the tubing?
Well, it's the way they come apart, though.
Yeah,
that
well, there
keeps-
isn't a whole lot more to an Indy car than that either.
An IndyCar is more sophisticated, but basically, if you break it down into what it is, racing is all about carrying enough fuel to get you to your destination as fast as possible.
Yeah.
I would have to say that
And
there's
now
been,
it's become it's not just carrying a gas tank as fast as possible. It's also trying to contain a driver. They're light years ahead of where they were in the 60s with car construction and even thinking about a driver.
Yeah, I would have to be of the opinion that there's been more spectacular crashes in NASCAR where the drivers walked away than drag racing, I think.
There are more of them.
Well, you see, all the momentum is going down this chute in drag racing, where in NASCAR or Indy, you can have things that are perpendicular to you that you're hitting.
Right.
And that doesn't happen in drag racing.
Right.
Not
It's a
very
lot of
often.
sliding the rails and rolling and stuff, but man, some of those off the corner, up the bank, into the wall in NASCAR is unbelievable.
Yeah, like I say, I never thought that anyone could possibly hit head-on into a wall going on an oval for Daytona and whatnot. And Neil Bonnet and that other guy who had that accident down there, when I watched the tape, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's square.
They're pretty much as square as you could possibly be.
Yeah.
And boy, there's a lot of that happens at Indy. That is definitely a dangerous place.
Yeah. I'm real curious to see what happens when the NASCAR cars get out on Indy.
That'll be interesting because it's really not a high bank track at all. I think the most banking on it is 8 degrees or 12 degrees.
And I believe if you look at that track, other than the main straightaway, it is a really narrow track too compared to what a lot of NASCAR tracks are.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I still don't approve. I don't think the NASCAR cars should run there unless Indy cars get to run Daytona. But they're going to pack the stands.
You want to see some 300-mile-an-hour speeds on a oval?
Well, yeah, what do they run out of Michigan, like 240 or something?
You put Indy cars on the Daytona track?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Daytona is banked at, I think 29
almost
to
30
degrees
yeah,
or better?
Almost a 30-degree angle.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I think they said
That
from
30-degree angle.
from bottom to top of the track is 3 stories?
Yeah. Well, and you see guys
so
trying to
that's
walk
the banking
down it.
involved. Yeah, that's the banking
And it's almost
involved.
impossible to walk down it. You almost have to sit down and scoot to get down this bank.
Jeepers.
Yeah, so Indy is nothing like
So
that.
it's like an Indy car going around in that ball at the circuit.
flat out.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Oh cow, that was
So,
only
yeah,
4.
actually, the Indy qualifying, I watched a bunch of that this weekend. That was very anticlimactic.
See, last
They
year
had
it was
bad
pretty
weather.
good.
They had bad weather, and they had a lot of high speeds for these guys to try and bump them out. And like I say, the biggest thing now is with Scott Goodyear being knocked out, which was Kenny Bernstein, King Racing's #1 driver. Their secondary car got in, and I think Davy Jones drove it or something. And now
Yeah.
they're trying to decide who gets the ride: the guy who qualified the car or your #1 driver. Not a decision I would want to make. Not a decision I would want to make.
I think the guy who qualified the car drives it. I think that's what you'd almost have to do.
It makes the most sense as far as fairness is concerned. But the other thing is he's not the guy that Budweiser is paying to, or I should say Bernstein is paying
Yeah.
to run his Indy car. So
Well, I remember, probably 15 years ago, Richard Petty ended up crashing or breaking down or something just before a race. And the guy who qualified his second car stayed in it and drove it.
well, I think it's a little different in NASCAR, because in NASCAR you qualify yourself.
Well, yeah, but this was prior to qualifying. Richard didn't take the other car and use it to qualify himself.
Interesting.
He let his other driver stay in his, hey, my car's shot, you go ahead and use yours.
Yeah, see, that's the thing I don't understand is in Indy
No.
cars, you can change drivers. You qualify the car.
Yeah, it's the car that qualifies.
That qualifies. It has nothing to do. I mean, if they wanted to swap spots, Scott Goodyear could go drive Al Unser Jr.'s car,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't be against the rules.
So then what you do
Highly
is
unlikely.
you get a guy who's a really good qualifier, and you have him qualify the car, and then you get a good racing mind to drive it. And the car is totally different from qualifying to race day
Well, that's the thing.
anyways.
The cars aren't even close to the same. But I was glad to see Al Jr. hang on for the pole.
Yeah.
I think he deserved a pole finally. But it is very
Which
interesting.
guarantees that he's not going to win the race this year.
No, I would not bet against that per se. But the interesting thing is what was it, 2-3 years ago when Al and Emo had the little incident on the second to the last lap at Indy.
Oh, yeah.
When they were on different teams, and now they're on the same team. One of those two cars should win.
Yeah.
Period. And if you're a betting person, I would put money on one of those two cars, or both if you can.
Both to show.
And I think the only other competition would be Boiselle,
Yeah.
sandwiched between them, having the next fastest Ford, which is a car. I think now its dependability is up there, that it will go 500 miles. 2 years ago, it obviously wasn't when the Andretti's were top of the heap in qualifying.
Oh, look at poor, what is it, Mike?
Michael and
Michael?
Well, both of them. The Andretti luck
Oh,
at Indy
man.
is rotten. And if
He's
you
leading this race forever, and then the car breaks down with just a couple laps to go.
and it was also
Jeez.
as predicted by yours truly, because I said that engine will not go. It's not tested. It will not go.
It will
came-
not go 500.
Yeah, it came out of Formula One, and they don't run nearly that long. And
So it went 492 instead of 500.
so it's too bad. So sad. I mean, if you're betting, don't bet on an Andretti.
What do you have next?
That's,
know,
yeah.
That is the plain fact.
Or bet an Andretti to finish second.
Hey, wrestling's next.
Okay.
Stay tuned for WWA Wrestling.
Wrestling's next. We'll be back next week, just shortly before the Richard A. Bomb Spectacular.
Well, there'll be much more auto sport news because
the
it's a
week
big,
after
big
that.
racing weekend.
Big racing weekend.
Week after that, we got the Fridley 49er Day Parade, so we will not be here.
And we'll see if we can't have a
But we'll
music
be at the
video
parade.
for the Indy 500 for you next week.
There you go.
Later.
Thank you.